Right then, Blades fans. Breaking news that could reshape our entire season. We've got 3 massive stories dropping today, and trust me, you'll want to hear every single word. This isn't your typical update. This is crucial information that every Sheffield United supporter needs to know. If you're new to the channel, smash that subscribe button right now and join thousands of fellow Blades getting the latest updates first. Hit the bell icon so you never miss a thing. We're the fastest growing Sheffield United fan channel on YouTube, and there's a reason for that. We bring you the news that matters, delivered by fans who actually care. Today we're covering a worrying injury blow just days before the Steel City Derby, a potential January signing that could solve our goal-scoring crisis, and disciplinary concerns that might cost us in the biggest match of the season. 3 stories that could define where we finish this campaign. 3 issues that Chris Wilder needs to address immediately. This is the news that matters. No clickbait. No nonsense. Just honest analysis from a Blades perspective. Let's get straight into it. Confirmed. Sheffield United hit with major injury concern just days before the Sheffield Wednesday clash. This could change everything about how we approach Hillsborough. Right, let's set the scene properly. Chidozie Ogbene, on loan from Ipswich Town since September. Signed on deadline day. 10 appearances for the Blades already. Been absolutely brilliant for us with his pace and directness. The kind of player who gets you off your seat. The kind of threat defenses genuinely fear. Started in all but 1 match since arriving on that final day of the transfer window. That tells you everything you need to know. Chris Wilder doesn't trust many players right now, but he trusts Ogbene. He's become absolutely vital to how we play. Our main outlet on the right wing. Our biggest threat in behind opposition defenses. Now he's gone and picked up what looks like a thigh injury playing for the Republic of Ireland. International football. The curse of club managers everywhere. You send your players away fit and healthy, and they come back broken. Here's exactly what happened. Sunday afternoon, the Puskás Arena in Budapest. Ireland against Hungary in World Cup qualifying. Massive match for the Irish. Absolutely crucial. They needed 3 points to keep their World Cup dreams alive. Second place in Group F was up for grabs. Lose or draw and they were basically out. Win and they'd secure a playoff spot for March. Ogbene started on the right wing. Same position he plays for us. And he was causing absolute havoc down that flank. Terrorizing the Hungarian left back. Just like he did against Portugal on Thursday night. His pace is frightening. His willingness to run in behind is exactly what modern wingers need. His aggression and work rate set him apart. He was getting fouled left, right, and center. Suffered 3 fouls in total during the match. One of them was a penalty in the first half. Stonewall. Hungarian defender couldn't handle his movement and brought him down. Troy Parrott stepped up and converted. 1-0 Ireland. Ogbene was doing everything right. Everything we've seen him do for the Blades. Making runs. Stretching the defense. Creating space for teammates. He was having a brilliant game. Then, 53 minutes in, absolute disaster. Ogbene went chasing a pass from Troy Parrott. Tried to accelerate onto it. Suddenly pulled up. You could see it immediately. That horrible moment when a player clutches the back of their thigh. We've all seen it before. We all know what it means. Medical staff rushed on. Ogbene needed treatment. Tried to run it off but couldn't continue. Adamita from Swansea City came on to replace him. Ogbene's afternoon was done. His World Cup qualifying campaign potentially over. And more importantly for us, his availability for the Sheffield Derby now in serious doubt. Ireland went on to win the match, which is brilliant for them. Parrott scored a hat-trick including a 96th minute winner. Incredible scenes. Ireland are through to the playoffs. They've got a chance at reaching their first World Cup since 2002. But for Sheffield United fans, that result means nothing compared to losing our best winger. And this isn't just any injury at any time. The timing could not be worse. This is right before the Sheffield Wednesday Derby at Hillsborough. Next Sunday, the 24th of November. The biggest match of our season so far. The one fixture that can define your entire campaign regardless of league position. We're going into that match on the back of a 4-match winless run. Lost 2-1 to Preston North End. Shocking result. Lost 2-0 to Derby County at Pride Park. Another terrible performance. Lost 2-1 at home to Coventry City. That hurt. Then drew 0-0 with QPR at Bramall Lane last time out before the international break. 4 matches, 1 point, 0 goals from open play against QPR. The form is awful. The confidence is fragile. The fans are getting restless. We need something to lift everyone. We need a result that reminds people what this club is capable of. The Sheffield Derby is that opportunity. Beat Wednesday and suddenly the mood changes. Beat them at Hillsborough and we've got momentum. Lose and the pressure on Wilder intensifies massively. So what does losing Ogbene mean tactically? Well, Chris Wilder's set to speak to the press this week ahead of the Wednesday match, so hopefully we'll get proper clarity on Ogbene's condition soon. But if he can't play, we've lost our main source of pace and width on that right side. Who replaces him? That's the question. We could shift things around completely. Maybe go with a different formation. Maybe bring in Jesarun Raksaki if he's fit. Maybe push someone else wide and change the system entirely. But none of those options give us what Ogbene does. His runs in behind terrify defenders. They have to drop deeper. That creates space in midfield for others. His work rate means he tracks back and helps the right back defensively. His directness means he takes players on, rather than playing safe passes backwards. You can't just replace that with anyone. Against Sheffield Wednesday, we'll need that energy more than ever. Hillsborough is a cauldron. Their fans will be absolutely bouncing. The atmosphere will be toxic for us. We need players who can handle that pressure and still perform. Ogbene is exactly that type of character. Remember, he's played in massive matches for Ireland. He's experienced pressure situations. He doesn't hide. That's what you want in a derby. Players who demand the ball even when things are tough. Players who keep making runs even when they're not finding success. That mentality is priceless. Now, there's a chance the injury isn't as bad as it looked. Thigh injuries can vary massively. Could be a minor strain. Could be a grade 1 tier that keeps him out 3 weeks. Could be grade 2 that rules him out for months. We simply don't know yet. Wilder will assess him this week in training. Medical staff will run tests. Then we'll know the severity. But even if it's minor, even if he's only out 1 match, losing him for the Derby would be a massive blow. This is the match where we need our best team, our strongest 11, our most threatening attacking options. Ogbene fits all those categories. And here's another concern. Even if the injury isn't serious, rushing him back could make it worse. We've seen it happen countless times. Player comes back too early, breaks down again. Then they're out for months instead of weeks. Wilder needs to be smart about this. Don't risk long-term damage for 1 match, even if it is the Derby. Right, question for you lot. Do you think we can beat Sheffield Wednesday without Ogbene? Or is his pace and directness too important to what we do? Who would you play instead if he's not fit? Let me know in the comments below. I want to hear your thoughts on this because it's a genuine concern. If you're enjoying this update so far, do me a favor and hit that like button. It helps the channel massively and means more Blades fans get to see these stories. Seriously, it takes 1 second and makes a huge difference to how YouTube promotes our content. Another bombshell. Could an ambitious January move for a Premier League striker solve Chris Wilder's biggest problem? This suggestion might sound mad, but hear me out. Let's talk about our goal-scoring crisis. Because let's be brutally honest here, it is an absolute crisis. We've got the worst attack in the entire championship. The worst. 24 teams in this division and nobody has scored fewer goals than us. 11 goals in the league this season. 11. Let that sink in. We're 15 matches into the campaign and we've found the net 11 times. That's less than 1 goal per game. That's relegation form. That's the kind of record that gets managers sacked and clubs sent down. You cannot survive in the championship scoring at that rate. It's impossible. Chris Wilder knows it. The players know it. The fans definitely know it. Every match we're creating chances and not taking them. Or worse, we're not even creating enough chances in the first place. It's painful to watch. Week after week, the same problems. That's why Wilder's just brought in Patrick Bamford on a short-term deal from the free agent market. 31 years old. Injury-plagued recent history. Barely played in the last year. But he's a Premier League proven striker who knows where the goal is, or at least he used to. It's a gamble, a desperate roll of the dice. Will it work? Maybe. Maybe not. But it shows how serious our striker situation has become. But is Bamford enough? Is a 31-year-old striker who's barely kicked a ball recently really the long-term answer to our problems? Can he play twice a week in the championship? Can he handle the physical demands of this division? These are legitimate questions. Well, one Sheffield United fan and YouTuber has a bold suggestion that's got people talking. Jimmy from the Blades Ramble channel reckons we should make an ambitious move for Brighton's Evan Ferguson in January. Brighton. Premier League Brighton. Their young Irish striker. And you know what? When you think about it properly, it's not as crazy as it sounds. Let me explain the logic here. A year ago, maybe 18 months ago, Evan Ferguson was one of the hottest young talents in English football. 19 years old, scoring goals for Brighton in the Premier League. Everyone was raving about him. Arsenal were watching. Manchester United scouts were at matches. Chelsea were monitoring his progress. He looked destined for the very top. Big, strong, technically excellent. Could hold the ball up. Good in the air. Decent finisher with both feet. The complete modern striker package. Roberto De Zerbi at Brighton loved him. Gave him opportunities. Trusted him in big matches. Ferguson repaid that faith with important goals. Then things started to go wrong. He lost his place in the Brighton team. Competition for places increased. Younger players came through. His form dipped slightly. Confidence seemed to waver. By January last year, it was clear he needed a loan move to get regular football. West Ham came calling. Premier League Football. London. Big club. Seemed perfect for his development. Except it wasn't. 6 months at the London Stadium. 8 appearances. 0 goals. Not a single goal in 8 matches. His confidence took a massive hit. This summer, Brighton tried again. Send him to Roma on loan. Serie, one of Europe's top leagues. Big city. Historic club. Surely he'd find his form in Italy. Except he hasn't. He's 21 years old now and he's not started a match since early October. Claudio Ranieri recently took over as manager and Ferguson's barely getting a look in. So his stock has fallen. Dramatically. The Wonder Kid label has faded. The big clubs aren't circling anymore. 18 months ago you couldn't have signed him for £30 million. Now, Brighton might be worried about his development. They might be open to different loan options. That's where we come in. Here's Jimmy's thinking and it's actually quite clever. The shine's come off Ferguson. His value's dropped. His confidence is low. Brighton need to get him playing again to protect their investment. But here's the crucial bit. They probably won't loan him to another Premier League club. Not after the West Ham experience. Too risky. But a championship club. That's different. That's a step down where he can rebuild. Where he can play every week without the intense pressure. Where he can find his goal-scoring touch again in a competitive, but slightly less intense environment. And if we go for him, we're not a threat to Brighton. We're in the championship. We're in the relegation zone. We're desperate for goals. We'd play him every single minute. He'd be our focal point. Our main striker. The entire system would be built around him. That's exactly what a young striker needs when his confidence is rock bottom. Game time. Trust. Opportunity. A manager who believes in him. Teammates who'll create chances for him. Fans who'll support him even when things aren't going perfectly. Sheffield United could offer all of that. Jimmy reckons Ferguson would be the perfect fit for what Chris Wilder wants to do tactically. Big target man who can hold the ball up. Good in the air for set pieces. Strong enough to battle championship defenders. Technical ability to link play and bring others into the game. Still got that quality that made him special at 19. He just needs the right environment to rediscover his form. He needs to feel wanted. He needs to feel like the main man. At Brighton, he's 4th choice. At Roma, he's not even in the picture. At Sheffield United, he'd be the star. The player everything revolves around. Think about it from Brighton's perspective as well. They clearly still rate him, or they wouldn't have loaned him to Roma in the first place. They've invested in his development since he was a teenager. They don't want to give up on him. But the Roma loan isn't working. He's not playing. He's not developing. He might actually be going backwards. Bringing him back to England in January makes sense. Letting him play every week in a competitive championship makes sense. Rebuilding his confidence at a club that desperately needs what he offers makes sense. Then reassess in the summer when he's hopefully scored 15 goals and looks like his old self again. Now, is it realistic? That's the massive question. We'd need Brighton to agree to terminate the Roma loan early. We'd need them to agree to loan him to us instead. We'd need Ferguson himself to want to come to Sheffield United. We'd need to convince everyone involved that we're the right club for his development. That's a lot of moving parts. A lot of conversations. A lot of negotiating. Is it likely? Probably not. Is it impossible? Absolutely not. We've seen stranger loan deals happen in January windows. Our current strikers have been absolutely woeful. Let's be honest about this. Tyrese Campbell has got 3 goals. At least he's contributing something. But Tom Cannon, Danny Ings, Ryan One, combined they've got 0 goals. Not a single goal between them all season. That's genuinely shocking. Tom Cannon was supposed to be this great young talent on loan from Leicester. Physical striker who could make an impact in the championship. 0 goals. Danny Ings is an experienced Premier League striker who should be dominating at this level. 0 goals. Ryan One is a squad player, but still, you'd expect something. 0 goals. That's unacceptable. Completely unacceptable. We can't carry 3 strikers who aren't scoring. We can't keep hoping they'll suddenly find form. We need to act in January. We need to bring in proven goal scorers, or at least players with potential, who are desperate to prove themselves. Bamford's a gamble. He might come good. He's got pedigree. He's scored goals at Premier League level. But he's 31. He's injury prone. He hasn't played regularly in over a year. Can we really rely on him to solve our problems? I'm not convinced. Ferguson represents something different. He represents potential. He represents ambition. He represents youth and hunger. He represents the kind of signing that could genuinely transform our season. Imagine him leading the line for the second half of the campaign, getting back to his best, scoring 15 goals, firing us up the table and away from relegation. It's not impossible, but here's the reality check we all need. If we're still sitting in the relegation zone come January, will Brighton really send their young talent to us? Probably not. They'll want him at a club that's competing for promotion, a club that's winning matches, a club that can showcase his abilities properly. So we need to start picking up points now. We need to beat Sheffield Wednesday. We need to win against Portsmouth. We need to climb the table and make ourselves an attractive proposition for quality loan signings. Because right now, we're not attractive. We're struggling. Players don't want to join struggling clubs. The January window could define our season. Get it right and we could have enough firepower to survive. Get it wrong and we're going down. Ferguson might not be realistic, but the principle is correct. We need to be ambitious. We need to think big. We need to find solutions because what we're doing now isn't working. So here's my question for you. Would you take Evan Ferguson on loan in January? Do you think he'd be the answer to our goal-scoring problems? Or should we be looking elsewhere? Maybe an experienced championship striker instead? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I genuinely want to know what the fan base thinks about this because it's a fascinating debate. And if you haven't already, make sure you're subscribed to this channel. Tap that button. We're covering every twist and turn of this season, every rumor, every bit of breaking news, transfer speculation, match analysis. The lot. You don't want to miss it. Now this, to key midfielders walking a disciplinary tightrope ahead of the biggest match of the season. One wrong tackle and we lose them for a crucial home match. Right, we've talked about injury concerns. We've talked about potential transfer targets. Now let's discuss something that could seriously impact us next Sunday. Discipline, or more specifically, the lack of it. Yellow cards piling up at exactly the wrong time. City Peck and Gustavo Hammer, 2 of our most important midfielders, both sitting on for yellow cards in the championship this season. Both one booking away from a 1-match suspension, and both expected to start against Sheffield Wednesday. That's a problem, a serious problem that Chris Wilder needs to manage very carefully. Let me break down the rules for anyone who doesn't know. The EFL has specific disciplinary thresholds. Any player who picks up 5 yellow cards in their club's first 19 league matches gets an automatic 1-match suspension. We're approaching that threshold fast. Next Sunday's derby will be our 16th championship match of the season. 3 games after that and we hit 19. So anyone who gets booked against Wednesday and picks up their 5th yellow will miss the next match. Let's start with City Peck because his situation is slightly different. Young lad from our academy, 20 years old, plenty of energy, loves a tackle, box-to-box midfielder who covers every blade of grass. He's been absolutely brilliant for us this season. Real bright spark in what's been a difficult campaign for everyone. One of the few positives we can point to. But he's been picking up bookings. Maybe it's inexperience. Maybe it's enthusiasm getting the better of him. Maybe referees in the championship are harsher than youth football. Whatever the reason, he's on for yellows already. His fourth yellow card came in the 3-1 win over Blackburn Rovers on October 21st. That was nearly a month ago now. Since then, he's had to be careful. Really careful. He played against Coventry and avoided a booking. He got through the QPR match without going in the referee's notebook, which is good news. Shows he can control his aggression when needed. But one slip against Wednesday and he misses Portsmouth at home on November 26th. That would be a massive blow. Portsmouth at home is exactly the kind of match we need to win. They're struggling themselves. They're a newly promoted side finding the championship tough. It's a winnable home game. 6-pointer territory. Losing Peck for that match because he got booked in the derby would be really frustrating. Now let's talk about Gustavo Hammer. Completely different situation. Experienced midfielder. 27 years old. Played at the top level. Spent time at Coventry City, where he was excellent. We signed him knowing he'd bring quality and composure to our midfield. And when he's played, he has. But he's also got a disciplinary problem. Picked up for yellow cards in the first 6 matches of the championship season. 4 yellows in 6 games. That's a terrible record. That's one booking every 1.5 matches. At that rate, he'd finish the season with about 30 yellows and be banned for half the campaign. Something had to change. Then he got injured. Knee problem. Nothing too serious, but enough to keep him out. He missed all 6 of Sheffield United's matches between the October and November international breaks. That's actually helped him in some ways, given him a forced break from accumulating cards. Let the disciplinary record cool off a bit. Chris Wilder confirmed before the QPR match that Hammer's fit and ready. Great news in terms of having him available. We've missed his quality in midfield, his passing, his ability to control games, his experience in big matches. Having him back for the Sheffield derby is massive. But here's the problem. He's still on for yellows. Still one booking away from suspension. And now he's coming back into the biggest, most intense match of the season. The Sheffield derby. At Hillsborough. Where emotions run high and tackles fly in from the first whistle. And here's why this matters so much. The Sheffield derby isn't just any match. It's not a normal football game. It's tribal warfare. It's intense. It's physical. It's emotional. Tackles come in hard. Players get wound up. Crowds influence referees. Yellow cards get shown for things that wouldn't be booked in other matches. The referee has to stamp his authority early. Can you imagine? Peck or Hammer getting booked in the 10th minute, then having to spend the next 80 minutes playing scared, not fully committing to challenges, holding back when they should be going for the ball, thinking about their disciplinary record instead of just playing football. That's not what we need in a derby. We need our players fully committed. We need them on the front foot. We need them ready to fight for every ball. We need them aggressive and intense. But we also need them smart enough not to get booked. That's a really difficult balance to strike, especially for young players like Peck. Chris Wilder will have to manage this situation carefully. Does he have a conversation with both players before the match? Remind them they're on for yellows? Tell them to be cautious? Or does he just let them play naturally and hope they keep their discipline? Does he even risk playing them at all? That's a genuine question. Maybe he looks at the situation and decides it's not worth it. Better to rest one or both and save them for Portsmouth, where we absolutely need to win. Better to use players who aren't walking that disciplinary tightrope. But who replaces them? That's the issue. Both players are important to how we function. Peck's energy in midfield has been crucial all season. He wins the ball back. He drives forward with it. He links defense and attack. Losing that dynamism would hurt us. Hammer's quality on the ball is something we've genuinely missed during his injury. His range of passing, his composure under pressure, his ability to dictate tempo. These aren't things you easily replace. Leaving either of them out would weaken us significantly. It's worth noting that they're not the only players in this situation. Japhet Tanganga and Tyrese Campbell are also on 3 yellow cards each. They need to avoid picking up to yellows in the next 4 matches to escape a ban before the 19-game threshold. So it's not just Peck and Hammer. We've got disciplinary concerns across the squad. This speaks to a bigger issue actually. Are we too aggressive? Are we picking up too many unnecessary bookings? Is this a coaching problem that needs addressing? 4 players on 3 or 4 yellows by match 15 suggests we're not managing the disciplinary side well enough. This is where experience matters. Senior players need to manage games properly. Understand when to commit to a challenge and when to back off. Know when a yellow card is coming and avoid it. Gustavo Hammer should know better. He's played at the highest level. He's been through these situations countless times before. But derbies do funny things to players. The adrenaline kicks in. The occasion takes over. The noise gets to you. The importance of the match clouds your judgment. It's easy to get carried away and commit a foul you wouldn't normally make. That's when yellow cards happen, and Peck, he's still learning, still developing as a player, still figuring out how to be aggressive without being reckless. This derby will be a massive test of his maturity. Can he play with intensity without crossing the line? Can he be physical without giving the referee a decision to make? That's what Wilder needs from him. The good news is that Chris Wilder's aware of the situation. He's an experienced manager. He's been in football long enough to know how to handle these things. He'll have conversations with both players this week. Sit them down individually. Remind them what's at stake. Make sure they understand the importance of staying on the pitch for 90 minutes and staying available for Portsmouth. He might even change tactics slightly. Play a bit deeper. Be more cautious in the first 20 minutes. Let Wednesday come onto us rather than pressing high. Reduce the number of situations where Peck and Hammer might have to make tackles. Protect them tactically. But football doesn't always work out neatly, does it? Sometimes you pick up the softest bookings imaginable. Sometimes referees make harsh calls. Sometimes you don't even commit a foul, but you get booked anyway because the ref's trying to manage the game. Sometimes the heat of the moment takes over and you do something stupid. That's football. That's why managers worry about these situations. All we can do as fans is hope our players keep their heads. Hope they play smart. Hope they manage the occasion without getting dragged into silly confrontations. Hope the referee's sensible with his cards. Hope we don't lose key players to suspension at such a crucial point in the season. So question time. Should Chris Wilder risk playing both Peck and Hammer against Sheffield Wednesday knowing they're one yellow card away from suspension? Or should he rotate and keep them fresh and available for Portsmouth? What would you do if you were the manager? Would you take the risk or play it safe? Let me know your thoughts below. And seriously, if you're getting real value from this channel, hit that like button. Share this video with other Blades fans on Twitter, Facebook, supporter forums. Let's build this community together. The more people watching and engaging, the better content we can create, right? Let's wrap this up and summarize everything. 3 stories, 3 genuine concerns, 1 absolutely massive week ahead for Sheffield United. Story 1. Chidozie Ogbene potentially injured ahead of the Sheffield Wednesday derby. Thigh problem picked up on international duty with the Republic of Ireland. Huge blow if he can't play. We desperately need his pace and energy in the biggest match of our season. Chris Wilder will update us this week, but right now it's not looking good. Story 2. Could we make an ambitious January move for Brighton's Evan Ferguson? It's optimistic. It might even be unlikely. But it's exactly the kind of creative thinking we need. We've got the worst attack in the championship. 11 goals all season. That's relegation form. Patrick Bamford's arrived, but we need more. Ferguson needs games. We need goals. It could work for everyone. Worth exploring at the very least. Story 3. City Peck and Gustavo Hammer are both 1 yellow card away from automatic suspension. They need to be extremely careful against Sheffield Wednesday or they'll miss Portsmouth at home. Disciplinary tightrope that Chris Wilder needs to manage carefully. Does he risk playing them? Does he rest one or both? Massive decision. These are the stories that matter right now. These are the issues that could define our season over the next few weeks and months. This is what keeps Chris Wilder awake at night. Injuries. Goals. Discipline. The fundamentals of football that determine whether you succeed or fail. We're in a battle. Make no mistake about that. We're in the relegation zone. We're not scoring enough goals. We're picking up injuries at the worst possible time. The pressure's building. But we've got quality in this squad. We've got a manager who knows this division. We've got fans who'll support the team no matter what. The Sheffield Derby's massive. Win that and suddenly everything looks different. The mood changes. Confidence returns. Momentum builds. Lose and the pressure intensifies dramatically. It's that important. If you haven't already, subscribe to this channel right now. We're bringing you the latest Sheffield United news every single day. Match analysis, transfer updates, tactical breakdowns, interviews. The lot. Hit that bell icon so you never miss an upload. And if you enjoyed this video, give it a like and share it with fellow Blades fans. Get it out there on social media. Let's spread the word and grow this community. Drop your thoughts in the comments section below. I want to hear what you think about all three stories. Are you worried about Ogbean's injury? Would you genuinely try to sign Evan Ferguson in January? Should Wilder rest Peck or hammer against Wednesday to avoid suspension risk? This is your channel, your community, your space to discuss Sheffield United without any nonsense. Let's have proper conversations about the issues that matter. I'll be back very soon with more updates. Probably later this week when Chris Wilder does his press conference ahead of the derby. We'll get the latest team news, we'll hear his thoughts on the match. We'll find out about Ogbean's injury status. Until then, keep the faith. Blades fans, it's tough right now, but we've been through worse. We'll get through this together. Up the Blades!